Yo, what's up? Maddie Patty. Fired again on your day off. This man seems to love to lose his jobs on his days off of work. You're not at work and you're getting fired. Make that make sense. You can't. Now, many of us believe that, you know, one good turn deserves another. But karma comes back for those who are basically individuals who are not deserving. They try to put on shields and masks and they try to pretend to be something that they're not. They try to pretend like, oh, he's the family guy, he's cleaned up his image, and they get these PR people to write puff pieces on him. But realistically, they still the same person. They haven't changed at all. They're just putting up a mask, a front, to try to pretend that there's something that they're not. So when those narratives start to turn into the negative for them, they usually didn't want a part of it. They usually was looking for a way out, an excuse, so that they didn't have to go through the rigorous routines all over again. So now the narratives have switched and changed over. And now that that's happened, those narratives have changed. It's a different time and era for everyone involved. You see, Matt Barnes felt, I'm Matt Barnes. I could say and do what I want. Something's always going to happen for me. He had the greatest podcast show when it started. They had all the smoke, and all the smoke had all this flavor when it first started. Then the show started to get real stale. They got to Showtime and then they got relaxed. They started thinking they were bigger than what they actually were. And then from that point on, the show started to lose its steam. And then credibility from people started to be challenged once they went out to Kwame Brown, and Kwame Brown came back and crushed the internet. And then they came to, well, you can come to the show now because he become a trending topic when they were saying, "Oh, you can't come to the show." So all of this ego and bravado started to come from Matt. Then it was all this, we gonna do it with violence. For what? What you need to do something with violence for? Why is everyone action violence? You know, they got you in 4K doing the dumb activity that was gonna get you fired. I knew from the jump Matt was making a mistake, and I knew he would be fired. He looked like he had had a few. It looked like he was unhinged, and his termination was imminent. Well, I know a couple of things about this situation because Matt Barnes is a citizen of Sacramento. He's their native son. So when you know that, then you know that Matt Barnes is one of their favorites. In a town that normally don't have a lot of superstars, when you have somebody that does all the smoke podcasts and you see, wow, okay, here it is. We got a guy that's doing his thing. He's big and he's willing to still be with us. So when they signed him in 2021, this was a great deal for Matt Barnes to be able to call the games, and he could go on ESPN and do his part over there, but still had his NBC rights deal. Now, just a year ago, Matt Barnes decided it would be a great idea if I was to go out and spit on my girlfriend's or fiance's ex-husband. Let me go spit on him at a live public setting at a football game. And then he gets fired, right? Now that isn't enough for Matt Barnes. Matt Barnes gets fired from that and spitting incident. And once he gets fired from that from ESPN, he goes into this new realm of ignorance at this football game. So he loses his ESPN gig when he spits on the man, period. It's on the front paper, everything. Matt Barnes spits on a man. Disney said, he's gone. He's out. So Matt Barnes is out, loses that job. Now comes the new narrative and the new headache. This incident here, because the Sacramento Bee and everybody else was surprised when Matt Barnes did the spitting incident that he wasn't fired. He kept his job at the Sacramento Bee. They stayed with Matt Barnes even after the spitting incident. So he had a lifeline. They were keeping him abreast of the situation. Now, here it is, a kid, right? A teenage boy who Matt Barnes said that this guy said all these words to him, comes over, grabs the kid, and starts talking to the kid. Someone else's child, a high school student, Matt Barnes grabs him and starts talking to him to the point where one of the coaches, assistant coaches, comes down to talk to Matt Barnes, saying, "You can't touch this kid. Get your hand off this kid. You got to go." He was out of control, and you can't do that at Harvard Westlake. That is a white Jewish kid. They're not going to let that go. This is Harvard Westlake. They have money. And Matt Barnes just made the dumbest mistake he could have ever made. Because you would think this is what got him fired. They were willing to keep Matt Barnes after this. Once again, the Sacramento Bee had put out an article covering all of this. The NBC Sports California pregame and postgame show that would normally feature whenever the Kings returned from the All-Star break, they had to make a decision on releasing Matt Barnes. But what got Matt Barnes fired was appearing on Dan Lebertard's show, on his podcast show, to defend the situation. Matt Barnes is 43, and this is his third year in the analyst for the NBC Sports California Kings broadcast team, right? So now, Matty Patty, which he is known as, decided in his infinite wisdom to go on this show and bring it back up and talk about it briefly to try to give his take on it and have a fair shot. So he attended the Crespi Carlemente Harvard Westlake game because his sons play on there. And he creates this story where he said, hey, like what did he say? He said, I was yelling at the refs. I yell at the refs my entire college career. I coach AAU in the summertime. I have high school boys. I have a 5-year-old coming down the pipeline. So I'm going to be doing a lot of yelling at refs. This particular incident, I would say, is one mistake. The only the only one mistake I made was putting my hand on the student's shoulder. A lot of people want to say I grabbed this kid or I did this. I literally put my hand on this kid's shoulder because it was almost like I was talking to my son. He told me to sit my A down, and I was just like, why do you feel comfortable to be able to tell a grown man to sit his A down? So he and I had a back and forth, and obviously admitting my faults to even touching him was wrong of me. But I want to make it clear that the narrative of me being some guy that beats up people, I want people to know I didn't body slam this kid. Yeah, this is Matt Barnes, y'all. Matty Patty. Live at work doing what Matty Patty does, deflect. Now he's finna turn it to he's the victim, right? Now, listen to this. I didn't body slam the kid. I didn't choke slam him. I didn't do any of the sort. I literally put my hand on his shoulder like I was talking to one of my sons. And again, for touching him, I was wrong. But I just didn't like the disrespect that came with the entitlement where they felt like they could say anything to me. This caused the reaction where he's saying they felt entitled to say anything they wanted to me. He literally blamed a woman who was sitting there, said she cussed him out or whatever, and said, "Get the F out of here," and all this stuff. And Matt Barnes is playing the victim as him coming over there caused the entire situation, but he's now acting as if that's not the reason all of this materialized. But just like I told you, people who are in denial will be in denial forever. That's all they know. So he sat down there and said, "Why do you feel so comfortable to tell a grown man to sit his A down?" So the kid who was attacked by Matt Barnes, as you've seen in that little video clip, he said, Matt Barnes came over here to him and said, "What do you think you're looking at?" And he said, "What? You're screaming, 'You're a bitch' to the ref mid game while I'm trying to announce." And then he said, "Don't touch me." Then he said, "I'll slap the S out of you." So after Matt Barnes' speech, he says, "I want to make it very clear that I never told him to shut up or anything close to that. He came up to me. All I wanted to do in that moment was get back to announcing the championship game." So this guy was very adamant that he didn't do anything and say all those things, and Matt Barnes has been lying on him. So Barnes, who was at Del Campo High School in UCLA, he was drafted 46 pick overall in the NBA draft. He played for 9 teams during his entire career. He retired after winning the championship with the Warriors in 2017. You know, now Brian Daly, who was one of the people that was working as a programming executive for Showtime Sports, when he had all the Smoke podcasts over there, they're going to start this production company together called All the Smoke Productions, where they're going to try to bring in all of these podcast shows under their umbrella. They're going to bring in Rondo, Paul Pierce, Rachel Nichols, DeMarcus Cousins, and they're going to build their own like super team. Now, as far as moving forward with progress and moving in the right direction, Matt Barnes is yet to learn how to take responsibilities for his actions. When you say a kid feels he's entitled, you're the one that's causing the scene. There wouldn't be a scene if you didn't walk over there and grab the kid, which you said that was wrong. But it's like talking to one of my sons. Well, this isn't one of your sons. So for you to put your hands on this kid, you created a situation that didn't need to be. So you are at fault, Matt Barnes. And instead of accepting responsibility, you threw gas right on the flames that was dying out. So once again, in your entitlement, you act as if it's nothing, it's another bump in the road. Cheers to new beginnings. But is it a new beginning? Or is it the same old thing that's waiting to happen down the road? DraftKings considerably are allowing bad behavior. They're allowing all of these incidents to take place and they just don't care. A lot of these betting sites are starting to do this, saying, well, we don't care what they do. And they don't have to abide by any standards. We're starting to notice that more and more as we have seem to have reached an impasse. Well, we'll see how it plays out in the end because so many people are taking turns doing the things that they're doing. Matt Barnes is just one of many. You got Steven Jackson out here trying to rap. It's turning into a regular what you would call the S show. That's what it's looking like right now. You got so many people pivoting to try to do the right thing and don't know what that is because they've never done it. Matt Barnes has been a a-hole at his job. He's been an a-hole to his fiance. He's an a-hole to his wife. Well, yeah, wife, as he did marry her. And it's just he never could find the right fit because he spends the majority of his time fighting anger issues. He seems to always hate the fact that people put him in a category that don't fit his character. Keep putting him in there. He want to be a tough guy. He want to stand up to people and show he's not a punk. The whole nine. It's just over and over again, repeatedly. This guy has shown that he's not the one. Well, people didn't think, he amassed a lot of attention for someone who didn't really have a stellar NBA career, but he amassed a lot of attention. And guys who were basically role players, um, Barnes is more of a bench guy, and they've brought themselves to a plateau to where they could order and demand things. And it's just puzzling to a lot of people. When did they become this popular? How long have you been watching All the Smoke? They got going that first year, they were hot. Now they hating on Shannon Sharp's success and Nightcap. They hate on everything that they do. And for what? Because it makes them feel good about themselves. That's what it's all about. Now, when I talk about like Gil's Arena, that show, there's a reason why I talk about that show. They know what it is. So I just point out the facts and then I just keep it moving. There's so many things that are wrong in this instance. Oh, Matt Barnes is he's put in a situation that while you're trying to grow a network and you're losing your money, the only thing he got coming in right now is DraftKings. That's the money that's keeping him afloat. And DraftKings decides to stand by and allow this to happen. I tell you, all of these things are vicious. This is vicious acts. I don't think that little kid told him anything of the sort. And you see that lady right here, she's the one that he's talking about said something to him because she hear you threatening to slap this kid. And going on Dan Lebertar's show was the final straw. The Sacramento Bee reported that that's why this, basically why this incident happened. You were on a thin line and they had you still doing games, broadcasting and all this stuff. Then, right before the All Star break, you go on Dan Lebertar's show, say these egregious remarks, and look at where you're at now. Look where you are now. So it's no wonder that the people don't want anything to do with you. They don't feel like they're getting anything of value by dealing with you. People will always make an excuse for not doing what in the world that they should be doing. People will always make that excuse. So what would be yours? What will be your excuse? Don't follow these guys and their egos. Matt Barnes is in the predicament he's in because Matt Barnes believes nothing applies to him. He could do whatever it is that he wants. No consequences are going to come his way. He's Matt Barnes. Look how he attacked Kwame Brown. Came after him, talking about you got my D in your mouth and all this stuff. I mean, just talking crazy and reckless. Everything about him and his reactions are violence. Everyone who's had a problem with him, it's been about violence. He's threatened a hairdresser, of his fiance, threatening to beat up her and her boyfriend, threatening to beat up a lot of people. His whole career outside of basketball has been threats and violence. In a nightclub, you and DeMarcus Cousins get in a fight in a club because you decide you want to get mad and drunk and put your hands on the throat of a woman would eventually get you waived from the Sacramento Kings. You got popular for jumping over a fence to punch Derek Fisher because your ex-wife wants to be with him and don't want anything to do with you. That's why you were divorced. Now, society has always said, why put people at odds when you can bring people together, right? So, Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes deserve each other because one, neither one is loyal to each other. They claim they are. When Matt was ascending and he was at his plateau, when Steven Jackson got fired from ESPN, Matt Barneston said, "All right, well, I'm gonna be with my boy." He stayed there, like, "Nah, I'm gonna get my bag." He didn't fight for Jack. He said, "Man, that's cold," and so then, but kept going back to work over there. He ain't staying with his boy, and then he kept doing deals for him. He started doing, "I'm finna produce some movies." He was like, "I'm finna produce. I'm in Hollywood." So it's just terrible. Whole terrible mentality. So I don't want people like that around me. Like Matt Barnes, and I wouldn't even want to hang out with him because he's the type of person that would do something stupid, and then if you help him, that's going to cost you all for stupidity. Those are not friends. They put you in environments, and Jack is so stupid, he just go head first. Man, I got to ride. I got to ride for mine. I'm like, this dude ain't finna ride for you. You riding for people that ain't gonna ride for you. That make you look stupid, expendable. But Jack don't know it no other way. He just so like a blind dog, just chasing behind the scent, and just going into like he is a street goon. It just really makes no sense. Well, when you think about the greatest, uh, you think about the greatest people to ever do like podcasts or any of this stuff. It's so new. It really is. The podcast lane is wide open, and every day it's like new podcasts is coming out, brand new podcasts. Everybody's like, who's gonna have the hottest podcast? And what happens with a podcast show is people worry about the guests that come on the show. And those are normally that dictates what the show is gonna be when you have guests that come on the show. Because they have something they want to say, something they want to sell, they want to pop up on your screen just like that, right? They come right out. So you got people like Matt Barnes who don't understand the business, they don't understand music, they don't understand movies, they don't understand anything in the entertainment field. as far as the repercussions, because they've always been protected. Someone's always bailed them out of a situation. And we know that even without the celebrity status, we know people that's like that in our lives. That every time they got in trouble, it's mommy, daddy bailed them out, somebody bailed them out. So they never learn that consequences have to come with all of this. Your anger, when you calm down and come back to reality, you're back doing damage control. Here it is, 2 years in a row, you're doing damage control. Pretty soon, everyone's going to realize you're the problem and you are not getting help is a problem. I would want Matt Barnes to go into anger management. I would want him to go into some type of therapy to get himself together, or he's going to die because somebody is going to harm him. He's going to walk up on the wrong individual and something bad is going to happen. I sense that for him because he can't control it. Now, like I said, if he was somewhere else and he grabbed someone's child like that would have went a different way. So for us, it screams a lot more than what people would see. It's more of a cry for help. So when you see a cry for help like that with Matt Barnes, you can either respect it or not. But that's what it is. Absolutely. I was thinking the same things. I was just biding my time. But when you have different people in different lanes, as we come here, people ignore the realities of the world. Well, Matt Barnes has been a piece of you know what for a very long time. And people just tolerated his behaviors. Now I want to show you something. Hopefully you can see it on my computer screen. Top sports podcast. We're in the 200s. Close that. Let's go to 9. Ooh, this is bad. Wow. This is 200 and something. They had nothing past this. 210. That doesn't seem correct. Let's start it all over again. Oh, look at that. Let me see. Wow, it only goes to 210. That is crazy. Now, let me see if I do this. But bam, I was able to hit 10. Okay. Oh my God, look at that. 229 is Gil's Arena. Bam. That's a record low. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, there it is. It's a record low. 229. Dang. There it is. 229. They're losing to the Celtics post-game show from TD Garden. And the running effect is right by it. And the Big 12 watch with Josh Neighbors is just slightly above that. Record low. Today's date is February the 23rd. And on February the 23rd, as you can see, Gil's Arena is at 229. Wow. Now, no, I'm not doing this to like wish people down, prey on their downfall. It's just that this is bigger than that. This is about right and wrong and being right about something. Now, they're going to throw more money at the problem. But again, this is about me being right and them being wrong. That's all it is. See? All these books mean something. Each book means something powerful and for different situations. Now, right there, the millionaire mind and the cycle of leadership. That's something you need to think about. I got a book up there saying how to turn down $1 billion. Yep, how to turn down $1 billion. You see, I could have damn well wrote this book. I'd have never had a chance to turn down a billion, but I understand how to turn down $1 billion and why it was so special. Because turning down that $1 billion was essential. And I've always understood this. If somebody's willing to give you something, that's because it's worth more than what they're offering to you. You might not see the potential, might not understand what it means, but other people do. So it's up for you to recognize, hey, something's going on here, and I need to find out what it is right now and get involved. So that's what that means. When every time I see something like that or a deal that pops up, I know they're going to get theirs, and I'm gonna get mine. But I'm trying to make sure I don't get screwed or I screw myself, and then I'm stuck to terms I don't like. So I would want to see growth from like Matt Barnes and Captain Jack and people like that. Jack out here is trying to be a rap star. It's almost like a cartoon character. He just who just don't get it. You ever seen somebody who just don't get it? Somebody y'all want to play.
Let's play. Okay. Yeah. I could leave, but you niggas still not in mind. Stack what you talking about. I'm talking about a dollar sign. Been signing for the millions on the dotted line. No denying, hold the blueprint, but you can follow mine. Smoking on the same shit that I'm applying. Eating good, walk up in the bank like it's time to dine. Bon appetit, my stomach full and it's Ramadan. Check clear, bet it's 9 figures and 2 comma signs. Ever since I left the game, I've been ballin' more. It ain't about some money, what you callin' for? Grew up with no cable, and I'm checking DraftKings. I'm with all the smoke. Me and Luca throwing snowballs, we got all the smoke. I got a bag and got a bag, it was Louis. Got a shopping bag, boy, that's not a bag, what you doing? I ain't gotta brag, this the body bag, but you knew it. Since you broke niggas playing TSA, going through it like you ain't got one. Yeah. Okay. Big 5.
Big five.
$1 million homes, 20 square feet. I've been chasing so much paper, I need spare feet. Now I'm in Greece, beach water on my bare feet. Jodeci, come talk to me, just don't talk cheap. West side native, yeah, nigga made it. Project baby, community gated. S580, we riding Mercedes. KC, bout that money forever, my lady. Neck, wrist light, still a $180. I can't argue with a nigga, never touch 80. Globe tried around the world just to fuck baby. You been on bed rest, I've been up lately. Diamonds dancing on me like the Jabberwockies. Smoking pressure, got my eyes on Mr. Miyagi. Getting checks they never seen like a pair of Huaraches. But screaming wallahi, they ain't fucking with Aki. Never. Y'all wanna play? Let's play. Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I could leave, but you niggas still not in mind. Stack what you talking about. I'm talking about a dollar sign. Been signing for the millions on the dotted line. No denying, hold the blueprint, but you can follow mine. Smoking on the same shit that I'm applying. Eating good, walk up in the bank like it's time to dine. Bon appetit, my stomach full and it's Ramadan. Check clear, bet it's 9 figures and 2 comma signs. Ever since I left the game, I've been ballin' more. It ain't about some money, what you callin' for? Grew up with no cable, and I'm checking DraftKings. I'm with all the smoke. Me and Luca throwing snowballs, we got all the smoke. I got a bag and got a bag, it was Louis. Got a shopping bag, boy, that's not a bag, what you doing? I ain't gotta brag, this the body bag, but you knew it. Since you broke niggas playing TSA, going through it like you ain't got one. Yeah. Okay.
Album coming soon.
Check it. $1 million homes, 20 square feet.
What?
I've been chasing so much paper, I need spare feet.
What?
Now I'm in Greece, beach water on my bare feet.
What?
Jodeci, come talk to me, just don't talk cheap.
What?
West side native, yeah, nigga made it.
What?
Project baby, community gated.
Oh.
S580, we riding Mercedes. KC, bout that money forever, my lady.
Woo.
Neck, wrist light, still a $180. I can't argue with a nigga, never touch 80. Globe tried around the world just to fuck baby. You been on bed rest, I've been up lately. Diamonds dancing on me like the Jabberwockies. Smoking pressure, got my eyes on Mr. Miyagi. Getting checks they never seen like a pair of Huaraches. But screaming wallahi, they ain't fucking with Aki.
Woo! Man! Captain Jack with the fire! What are you talking about? Well, next thing you know, Captain Jack was arrested performing his song at a concert. He had a gun on him. It was unregistered. Oh, man. I guess he's going back on tour. Oh gosh. DraftKings, what is y'all doing, man? What are y'all doing? Call these dudes in the room and say, look, the hell are y'all doing? Oh my goodness. They should have never gave you Negroes money. Oh my God. Shouts out to KB, man. Kwame Brown bus like. Shouts out to Welcome to HD TV, Jag Sports with Jose Rodriguez, the Dreamers Pro. Man, this is just crazy. Crazy. I'm going to the Patreon. Thank y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to donate to the Cash App. For real, man. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what to say for that. How about?